Okay, let's dive right into Australia's best pools. First up, we're in Kingscliff, just south of the border in the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales. Okay, Dave, we're in the coastal town of Kingscliff.
That's right, we're here to catch up with Gavin from Dynamic Pools, and I've got to say, if it's anything like we saw last year, we're in for something really special.
Let's go check it out.
Let's do it. Gavin, great to see you again. The pool we saw last year was amazing, but being your own pool here, I've got to take my hat off to you. This is nothing short of a miracle for a pool builder to do his own pool.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, being our own pool, we wanted to do something a little bit unique, something to suit the coastal lifestyle, and I think we've nailed it.
You definitely have in that. And I've got to say, I've done my own pool and I know that I had at least 18 revisions on designing my own pool. So how many revisions did you have on this pool here?
Yeah, I think there was at least 18, maybe more. But we refined it as we went through and again, really love the end result.
So let's talk about style. This is amazing. I just love all the colours that you've used. It's very coastal, meets Santorini.
Being along the coast here, we wanted to have that nice coastal, relaxed feel. So my wife and I, our colour palette was very light, so we wanted to keep with the white and the timbers.
The renderer must hate you because to sit around there and do all these curves, it's not an easy job to do. So, what, how many weeks did the renderer take?
So he was here over a month, about 5 to 6 weeks, just doing the render and making the curves work. So not only have we got the external curves, but we've got the rollover curves of the spillover as well. So trying to marry those two together was a real task.
I've got to say, it's detail plus.
Yeah, so we wanted that seamless look, almost like as if the pool's raising out of the pebbles there.
Obviously, owning a pool business, how long did it take to build your own pool?
It took us quite a while because we went through that COVID period. It was a lot longer than what usually it would be, but it was around about 4 to 5 months overall, but it was spaced out over a little bit longer than that.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, I'm looking at this pool. It is just so inviting as well and very clean. Speaking about cleaning, how are you cleaning this pool?
So we've got a Matronics Dolphin Cleaner and in Australia first, it's a poolside connect Dolphin Cleaner. So no longer are the hoses or the cord going over the coping and off to a power point. It's all connected internally underneath the water of the pool.
Well, I've got to say, that's how good this show is. It's a first in Australia, so I'm glad we're here.
Absolutely, exclusive.
What water do you have? Is it chlorine? Is it mineral swim?
Yeah, we have mineral swim, so which is using minerals from the Dead Sea over in Israel. And the benefit of the mineral swim system in the water, not only does it give you crystal clear water, but the magnesium on your skin is very soothing and good for your muscles.
What don't you have in this backyard and pool?
I'm not sure. Enough parties to enjoy it all.
All right, so let's get in the pool.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
My first impressions when I walked out to this backyard is like, how long did the renderer take to do this? That's what I've got to say, because when I look around here, it is not the easiest job to do. And to do a hard cement finish like this, well, I've got to take my hat off to the renderer and obviously Gavin, the pool builder here. See you later. Jess, how hard is our job?
Do you know what? The 6 a.m. flight was a bit hard, but this, it's a pretty good job.
Well, all we need now is a bit of pool service.
We do.
Here's your service.
Ah, here he is.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Enjoy.
Gav.
Cheers.
I've got to say,
Cheers.
I don't think I'm going to be leaving the house here for at least till 12 o'clock tonight.
You're welcome.
No.
Welcome to stay.
First up, Josh is in Shell Harbour, about 2 hours south of Sydney.
Okay, we're here with Rob and Glenn from Cloud9 Pools. We're in Shell Harbour. First and foremost, boys, congratulations. The award-winning Plunge Pool of Australia 2021. Tell me, how did you guys get involved in this project?
Glenn and I both grew up in the area, been here since we were little kids, and a local builder who was building the house contacted us. The owner was sort of canvassing a few different companies at the time, and we ended up winning the project.
Generally speaking, how is the space used by the owners?
So the owner uses it for their own personal use. Has breakfast out on the balcony quite a bit, but it's also used in conjunction with an Airbnb. Every weekend through the summer, they've got clients staying in the little 2-bedroom that overlooks the harbour as well.
For building the pool here, this would be one of the hardest sites I think we've ever visited, that's for sure. But the finish that they've been able to achieve is one of the best we've seen as well. I want to talk quickly about Cloud9 Pools. Do you guys specialise in plunge pools, or do you go in all shapes and sizes?
Yeah, all shapes and sizes. Basically anything from, something like this to, I don't know, the biggest one we've probably got on the books would be a 20 metre.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, and we got one down in Mollymook where it's off the ground. There's a garage underneath it. We just, anything that they throw at us, we'll tackle.
Yeah, and just in talking about the complexity of this build, in terms of time frames, how long did this take compared to, a pool that is 20 metres long?
It probably come about the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot of safety issues as well when you're working at that height. We had to build oversized decks to what was really needed just to have a bit of a buffer in case something went on. And I don't know, I feel like the boys kind of maybe dragged it out because of the view.
Yeah.
But I know, when I was down here, you spend a lot of time just having a look around and enjoying where you are kind of thing.
Mm.
It was still a big build.
My favourite part, it has to be the infinity edge drop. I haven't seen one that long before. It's got to be at least 2 metres long, and you've got the whole public walking past this house every day. They'd be looking up and being extremely jealous of these homeowners. So since the property is used as an Airbnb and the guests would no doubt be enjoying the pool, what are we doing to keep it clean?
Yeah, so that's obviously a pretty important part of the design of the pool. So we installed the Davy lifeguard system, which is really beneficial because it uses chlorine production ORP probes, pH probes. So the system essentially takes care of itself, which takes a lot of the hassle off the homeowner to enjoy the pool and not worry about the guests too much.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual pool. What's the size of the pool and what's the depth? And also, what I really want to know is what actually classifies a plunge pool?
So the pool width is 2.5 metres. The length is 4.2. And we set it at about 1.4 deep the whole way through, so flat bottom. As per the plunge pools, anything under 6 metres is classified as a plunge pool.
So looking into the interior of the pool, obviously we've got a tile, but also a render. So we've gone for both, which is an interesting choice. Who came across that idea?
Well, we were looking at putting a quartz-on interior in for the smooth finish, and then the owner was looking at, once we put the 2 benches in on either side, we suggested using a glass mosaic tile just to make it a bit softer on your seating, and it also highlights that bench a lot more from outside the pool.
The mix of the tile and the renders, I do like it. If it was just tiles on itself, it would be probably a bit too bland. However, the tile was very much necessary for the drop-down proportion, so it can glisten off the sun. If not, it'd be way too boring for people passing by. It really needs that oomph because it is a special pool. I think the layout was actually done very well. You do want it to be not too deep because you do want to be standing, looking over that edge, enjoying this amazing view. If you do want to sit down, you have that option as well. I mean, this is such an amazing view. I would say it's probably every Australian's dream to own a property right on the edge of a beach. Right here, Shell Harbour, one of the most premier spots in Australia. You're gonna love this spot.
Next up, Dave and I head back to the countryside. We're in Kyneton, about an hour northwest of Melbourne.
Jess, I got to say, look at this. This is country landscaping at its best.
It is, honestly, the landscape here is perfection.
Wow, look at this. And as we enter the pool zone,
This is amazing, and the size.
unbelievable.
And the colour, I love it.
Well, look, I'm going to say that this is a fiberglass pool here. Again, I'm saying I reckon the size here is probably about 10 by 4 metres, okay? But again, that iridescent blue, I mean, like this just stands out in this farm, doesn't it?
I've actually never seen a pool this colour before.
We chose a fiberglass pool in this scenario because the homeowners wanted something quite rectangular with a nice bench seat along one side. So it was mainly for entertaining and for swimming some laps. So one of our fiberglass pools, which is this one's our Torino. It's an 11 metre by 4.45 metre aquatechnics pool. It was the perfect pool for this situation. It features entry steps in the corner here, and then it has a bench seat that runs right along the length of the pool. So it's our most popular fiberglass pool design because it is really quite large. Colour is quite vivid. Twilight is the colour. It's kind of a mid-blue where it's not too bright, but it's also not too dark. So as you can see, when you look at the pool, you can see right through, you know, the shallow end and the deep end all the way through. Quite a standout in this garden. That's quite natural, having a blue pool, but really fits well. And then you've also got the benefit of being able to swim some laps in it, but also have a family or two over and entertain and relax in the pool and sit down and chill out.
Look, I'm looking around all the planting here, and one thing you did point out before is that you love the arbours, okay? And what we say is that gives you a bit of a focal point leading all the way down to like an urn at the back there. But I'm looking at the planting here, and I reckon I know who's designed this. And I think it's Paul Bangay, and he has got a farm that's local here, and he's one of Australia's best designers on for country farms here. But you can see a lot of those elements that are sitting around. So if you're a landscaper, you can keep walking around and see a lot of wildflowers here that are indigenous to this area. So for a landscaper, it's pretty exciting.
The landscaping is incredible. There was a lot of man hours put into building the stone wall behind us here and stacked together, and then a really nice design for the garden that doesn't require a lot of maintenance. So the property isn't always occupied, so something low maintenance was definitely important, and a lot of work went into landscaping this area.
Let's talk about these hedges. They are impressively tall.
Yeah, so this is what we call Leighton's Green. Really good wind block, okay? Easy to trim down as well, and they can go up to 10 to 15 metres tall, but obviously these guys have trimmed it off there. I think that's all you need there. If you're looking around, I mean, we've got some Manchurian pears behind us, and that sort of creates that avenue for the driveway as well. So you've got some really nice planting here, but again, because it is a paddock, you do need these wind blocks, and I've noticed that we've got it there, and we've got hedges everywhere around the house.
And I feel like that's really important when it's so bare out there, to have it so insular and keep the pool from the wind.
Yeah, 100% right, because you know what the wind brings? That's going to bring all the weeds, all the dirt, and put it straight in the pool.
It's kind of like a pool barrier.
A pool cleaner.
All right, so let's talk about cost, because I know that's what is on everyone's mind.
Yep.
How much would it cost to do a pool like this?
Speaking of Kurt before, he said roughly $80,000.
And you know what? That's actually amazing, the size of this pool.
That's a lot of pool there for that price, okay? You know, and as I said, they've actually picked the best area. It's not too far from the house. Fits in with the landscape. You know, you can have a swim and talk to your llamas. I mean, that's living.
That's living.
That is living.
That is country living.
Yeah, just need a beer, llama, pool. Tick.
Done. First up, we're in Fingal on the Mornington Peninsula.
Chris, mate, I'm ready.
Dave, there are change rooms inside.
Okay, Alba, we're here. It looks fantastic. Tell us about it.
$100 million development on the Mornington Peninsula, one of the biggest I would have thought ever to occur. Pretty exciting to be our little part of it with our 30 swimming pools, and great result for all those involved, which is, you know, I think it tells a story in itself. Exciting right from the front door.
Première étoile, couchée sous la lune, es-tu là? Monde silencieux.
Chris, I've got to say, there's a couple of firsts here that I'm doing today. One of them's doing an interview in a row, and the second is speaking to a pool builder who's done not one, but 30 pools, mate. How did you get involved in this project?
It's been a long-term journey with the Hot Springs geothermal projects. So we've been doing it for some decades, and hopefully we'll bring a little bit of experience to it. And it's exciting to do something a little bit different because there are elements of this that aren't like a normal swimming pool.
We've got, what, natural salt ones, we've got the thermal ones. You tell me more, mate, because there's a lot here.
There's cold pools, the geothermal pools. The water's taken from 550 metres below the ground and brought up at 43.6 degrees and then cooled down to 37 to 40 degrees and then treated after it goes through the pools and sent back into the aquifer, replenishes so it doesn't take away from the environment. But then we've got standard swimming pools, cold pools and salt bars or flotation pools, mineral pools. There's a variety of experiences that on a 20-acre farm lot that was barren, that the architects in Hable and Marla, the landscape designers, in consultation with ourselves and others, have really changed something, and it's starting to take shape.
We were talking about obviously cleaning the pools before. A lot of them have in-floor cleaning that. But you look at this big, huge, it's almost, it's not a pond, it's like a little lake at the front entrance there. Now, obviously being shallow there, you can't do the in-floor clean there because it ends up spraying it. What are you using for that to clean that?
There's a Matronics cleaner down there, that's one of their shallow water depth cleaners. I think they're one of the few on the market with that particular cleaner that they've been able to use down there, and Matronics have through us, and that's what they use to clean that one.
Craig, I've got to say, I've had some bad days at work, but today is a great day. We are at Alba, down on the peninsula. Can you tell us about Alba, what this whole place is about?
We created Alba to provide a unique destination for guests to come and relax and rejuvenate. You arrive and, you know, as soon as you walk into the foyer reception area, we've created a signature scent so that you can smell that as soon as you get in. You check in like you would in a, you know, luxurious resort, so to speak. And then we have the various pools that can be enjoyed. We also have a spa, a 22 treatment room spa, where we offer a range of exquisite experiences from relaxation massage to Vichy shower. We have private baths in the room. We also have a steam room and a dry steam room where we complete quite a traditional experience called a Hammam float. And then obviously here we are now in the restaurant. That we've collaborated with Karen Martini and offer breakfast, lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
I'm just looking out the back here. You've got this beautiful river, 30 pools here, the cafe. Well, again, I'll take my hat off to this because I'm looking around everywhere and it's just detailed, packed with detail. Great job. Thanks for having me here today. And I don't think I'm leaving just yet because I'm going to go and try all these 30 pools, you know that, and then I might just finish off with lunch.
Fantastic, thank you. And we hope that you feel, you know, rejuvenated.
Well, I'm not giving back the robe, I can tell you that.
You can keep the robe.
Next up, we're in Woody Point, a coastal suburb in the Moreton Bay region of Queensland.
So guys, today we're going to see something very different. Not only is it the pool builder's own pool, but you know what? There's a lot of features that we have not seen on any pool before. Let's go check it out. So, Matt, you've got me up here at Woody Point. Now, I've certainly seen a lot of your pools here, but I've got to say, this one here is very, very different. So, again, tell me how you got involved in this project, mate.
This is a special project.
Yep.
You know, this isn't just your average pool that we build. Actually, Mark here is the construction manager for Environ Pools. So he has the arduous task of bringing our concepts and our designs to life during the week, and then he spent much of his spare time building this amazing project as well.
Well, I've got to say, Mark, wow. I mean, there's not one thing that you have not thought about. And I mean, I'm looking at this water feature here, but yet a projector screen? I mean, come on, mate.
Yeah.
And if that's not enough, then we've got a fireplace or fire in the actual pool over there.
Yep.
Spa. You must not like doing any garden maintenance around here because the whole backyard is pool, mate. And
That's exactly
I've got to
right.
say, so did you come up with this design?
Both me and my wife come up with this design.
Yep.
Tammy had a lot of input into what she wanted. She wanted the fire, she wanted the movie screen.
Yep.
And then I designed everything else around that.
This is a pretty big hole to dig,
Yes, it
obviously.
is. Yep.
So access-wise, this was pretty easy?
No, not really.
well, there you go. So-
At the moment, you'll see a vacant block next door, but there was a house there beforehand. We had to come through the garage, which
Yep.
we only had an opening of about 1.5 metres wide.
Yep.
Small machines, small bobcat. Took us about 3 days to do the excavation.
What are you using to clean this pool?
So I've got the Matronics pool cleaner. You've got your app on your phone, so
Yep.
you can just set all your timers, run it every day, once a week, whenever you want. You also have a manual drive system on there as well, so if it misses a spot, just shoot it over there,
Yep.
clean it up.
Yeah, we also have the Matronics ozone sanitation as a secondary sanitation device on here. So we've got, you know, your saltwater chlorination, and then on top of that, we also have ozone as well. So, you know, in terms of the maintenance of the water and the water chemistry, it's really well balanced.
Look, let's talk night time here. So lighting and stuff like that. I'm imagining this pool just glows. So not only just the pool, have you got garden lighting as well? Or is this just...
Yes, we do. We've got some LED garden lighting. It's
Yep.
the Gecko lighting system supplied by Beacon.
Yep.
And that just lights up all the main plants through there. That adds a really nice glow up the fence.
Yep.
And once those plants actually grow up nice and tall as well, that'll look spectacular at night.
Your favourite part about this pool is that
it's finished.
I was just about to say, is that he's finished now, we can concentrate on building the other pools?
Yes.
No, look, you know, Mark is a very dedicated worker, and he works very hard, and it can be quite stressful in building pools, particularly coming into the summer season, the end of the year. And, you know, for him to do what he does and then to also build this is just testament to how hard he actually works.
I'm glad it's finished. I can relax now too.
Do it like that, so like that, making it fast, bring it right back. Do it like that, move it like that, like it like. Do it like that, so like that, making it fast, bring it right back. Do it like that, move it like that, like it like.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot here, but ballpark figure, okay, just give us a rough estimate what something like this actually costs.
I would say you'd have to be in the 200 to
200
300 mark, ballpark.
Yep,
I
I
mean,
would have thought so, yep.
You know, there's some things that are hard to cost in, like the projection screen and the feature wall. But if you include like all the outdoor kitchen, plus all the block work and cladding, you'd have to say somewhere in between the 250 to 300.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. I do feel like we're on one of those American pool shows where everything's massive. There's fire, there's this, there's projector screens. You've certainly given us a pool that we've filmed that I haven't seen with as much stuff on. But I've got to say, well done. I think the only thing that I've got to do is get in, have a beer and enjoy the pool.
Definitely.
Thanks again, boys.
No, thank you.
Cheers.
First up, Dave and I head to the top of Bourke Street, Melbourne, for a very special tour.
Jess, I've got something exciting today. We are right in the heart of Melbourne. I've got Parliament House right behind me, and we are standing right in front of a hotel that has only been open for 6 weeks.
You know what, Dave? I've heard about this hotel. It's called the Le Meridian, and I'm so excited to show you because there's a rooftop pool.
You know what? Let's get up there and check it out. Tell us a little bit about this hotel.
Yeah, absolutely. Location, I mean, is A1. We're at the top end of Burke Street, the Paris end of town.
Yep.
Close to Parliament. Look at this space up here. Isn't it awesome?
It is absolutely unbelievable. And you know what? Melbourne weather, see, not raining.
Not raining at all. Wait 5 minutes, but hey,
yeah.
At the moment it's not.
This is a historical site, okay? We are up the top end. We've got Parliament House behind me. You couldn't get in a more central spot in Melbourne here, but this was not always here. What was here before?
You're right. Well, its last iteration was actually the Palace, a very well-known site, and then before that, the Metro nightclub.
Yep.
So anyone from Melbourne, I'm sure you must have been here in the past.
I have been here. I thought this was the Metro, but I was trying to get in here 35 years ago, Pete.
You're starting to show your age, Dave. But actually, it dates back to the mid-1800s when it actually started as a hotel, the Excelsior Hotel. But it's also been owned by MGM, it's been a live theatre, it's been a cinema, it has so much history. And the designers have done a fantastic job of incorporating that through to the design, and then we've taken it that step further and really putting it through to the guest experience as well.
Okay, Pete, we're here now. What does this hotel have to offer? I know that we've got the pool area up here, but what else do you have?
So not only, Dave, can you go for an amazing swim in this pool, but we have 235 guest rooms, 14 suites, rooms starting from 300 up to our top suite over 3,000. So you get the best of all ranges. We have our signature restaurant downstairs, Dolly. And then even when you walk in off of Burke Street, walking into Intermission, our cafe on ground floor, cafe by day, wine bar by night.
Well, I do got to say that it really is showing off a mid-century sort of vibe here that I'm seeing, okay, because I do love the tile, but I've actually seen this tile at my grandmother's house before, okay, so that's how long they've been around. so I'm saying, yeah, end of 60s, early 70s, but along with that, with all the towels, the yellow towels, we've got the umbrellas there, you've really given off that mid-century vibe, really, aren't you?
But that's exactly what the brand is about. Actually, Dave, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the brand was actually developed by Air France. Back in the 70s, early 70s, and they started developing a hotel in every major hub they flew to. Now, of course, it's one of Marriott's 30 brands. So the brand really draws from its European heritage from Air France, and that's why you see that mid-century modern design, little pops of color, although they might be at your grandma's place, it fits so well with the styling of it.
Peter, okay, let's talk size of this pool here, mate.
17 metres long, heated, outdoor, obviously.
Yeah, so when we say heated, okay, so I know Jessie, my co-host here, there's a difference between heated at 30 or 31 degrees, but it's got to be 38, 39 degrees for Jessie to get in the pool.
Look, we don't keep it quite that hot, but yeah, touching on 30 degrees, and that's where everyone seems to like it.
Oh, not my journey.
One thing I have noticed, there's no in-floor cleaning on this pool here. Now, having a lot of people here, how do you have this pool cleaned?
We've got a pool cleaner, and we've got a Maytronics Dolphin pool cleaner, actually, that we use.
Well, Pete, I do got to say, every rooftop pool I've seen has a Maytronics robotic cleaner here, and you got to say, it's doing a fantastic job.
Look at it, crystal clear.
Honestly, I love the view that this hotel has to offer and this pool. I think it's just so incredible. You see new meets old, and I just love that when you're up here, you do feel like you're in the middle of Melbourne, but being so high up, it's not so loud either. So I do think this is an incredible place to have an event. Just sit back and relax and enjoy what Melbourne has to offer.
Waiting for the sunshine.
Jess, when they asked us to do Australia's Best Pool Season 2, I didn't realise how hard it was going to be.
You know what? It's a pretty tough gig we have. Now we can finally reveal this pool in Gawler in South Australia.
I'm in Gawler, South Australia, and I'm about to show you an award-winning pool and how it blends in with this historic house right behind me. Let's go check it out. Anthony, I've got to say, when I first rolled up here, I looked at this beautiful house here, and then I saw this amazing pool here, mate. There's a lot of detail on this pool. How'd you get involved with this project?
So the clients, Jeff and Karen, came to see me years ago, and after doing the rounds around Adelaide, talking to different pool builders, liked what I had to say and came back to me and asked me to design their pool.
Yeah, beautiful. How big is this pool, mate?
The pool's 18 by 3, plus the external space of the spa and the steps.
We've got the trough, we've got the spa, we've got in-floor cleaning, and again, you've got this mosaic tiles. What's the hardest part about building this pool?
The hardest part's the setup.
Yep.
So because we're 3 metres in the air at that end, trying to set up a level so you can set your formwork up at this height and be accurate is probably the most challenging part. Once that's all set in place, everything sort of moves into gear from there.
You're a little bit different than a normal pool builder. You actually designed this pool, didn't you?
I did. So this pool was one of the very unique ones where the first design is what we built.
You do the whole landscaping as well?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
so how many pools a year are you roughly doing at the moment?
We're doing about 30 pools a year.
So why did you choose this pattern here?
The reason we picked the Osaka tile was the colour matched in with the home.
Yep.
So the stonework on the home and the tile share some similarities, which is something we were really concerned about, making sure the colours fit in with this older home.
You have got what they say is a wet deck here, and then you've got a negative edge as well that's back down at the end of the pool here. To actually get that and get the water running perfectly, it's not an easy job by all means. That with a spa as well, which has got a negative edge all the way around as well. Put that in, herringbone paving, keep going with the floating steps here, even down to just the seats here. Everything is custom made. And I've got to say, it is. It's pretty much like an 11 out of 10. House is, what, 150 years old?
Yeah, that's correct.
Obviously designing something like this, it's not easy, is it?
So when I came out to site for the first time, we stood up roughly where we're standing now and about a metre lower.
Yep.
And we spoke about putting in a long lap pool.
Yep.
And looking at the grade on the site, I immediately knew we had to form this out of the ground, but how high we were to do it.
Yep.
And we had a couple of options for either picking the lower level down here as our finishing height or our upper level here up at the driveway. We opted for the driveway to create the maximum impact of what this view is, sort of minimising what we see below the pool from this angle, as well as taking up the best viewing point. Pretty special place to swim in the end.
It's a 2020 National Award pool, is this right?
Won the 2020 National Black Pool of the Year.
Yeah, so not just in Adelaide, we're talking national, all right? So, oh, there you go, there's a bit of kudos there for that one here. What I'm really impressed with this pool here, it's attention to detail. You can see that Anthony and Elite Pools and Landscapes is winning awards because you know what? You just don't see a pool like this with the level that they've done and how difficult it is here. You got to say, yes, a National Award winner, absolutely. And you've used the Polaris soft closing hinges on this.
Yep.
Is this something you use all the time?
Oh, 100%. Every single job that we put the fence in, we use the Polaris soft close hinges.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do a glass gate.
One of the great things about Polaris soft closing hinges is how there are so many options from glass to timber, aluminium or metal. No matter what your fence is made of, you can always make sure you have the sturdiest hinge around. I really love that he has used a lot of local products here, even including the Polaris soft closing hinge. It's Australian made, it's the best on the market, and as we say, safety is everything. Using Polaris, that's a big tick for me. Old versus new, how did you get that balance?
So really what I did was I went for a very super modern structure and then just blended the colours through. So taking the colour of the paver and the seats and the tile from the home and bringing them into the area and then adding a more modern take on the pergola was how I brought them together, and I think they work quite cohesively.
I'm going to talk price here. Now, I'm going to have a guess, all right, about something like this, because it's not every day you see a pool like this, which has got negative edges and wet decks, spa, you know, glass tiles, all that. So I'm thinking today's prices, all right, 2023 here. I'm going to give you a range of 700 to 750-ish.
You're close, Dave.
Close? Ah, well, there you go. Thanks again for having us here. This pool is absolutely a 10 out of 10, mate. I look forward to seeing more pools from you.
Beautiful. Thanks, man.
Next up, Dave heads to Mornington, just an hour southeast of Melbourne.
Well, today is very exciting. We're here to see one of Australia's most celebrated landscape designers and good friend of mine, Steve Taylor. What makes it even better? This is his own residence. Let's go in and check it out. Steve, I've got to say, it's a very exciting day for me to be here today. Tell us how hard it is to design your place, mate.
Well, it is a challenge knowing that this is going to be our home and hopefully for another 10 years, and we wanted to get this one right. I did a previous home 500 metres up the road, and it was time for a new project. Driving to school one day, I saw a red brick silo in a farm, and that sort of inspired me to design the house. And the round nature of that entry foyer then transferred into the pool. And why not do something a little bit different and build a round pool out of the ground with a swim-up bar and spa, and we absolutely love it. It's a square block, so it's very tricky to build on, and creating usable spaces was tricky. But I guess I fluked the house design, and then the garden design evolved over a couple of years while we were living in the house. I was always going to do the round pool, and that was on the original plan, but changes of levels and all those things evolved over the few years of COVID while I designed and built the garden.
Steve, look, you and I, we've known each other for over 20 years, mate, and I've seen you win a lot of awards, okay? And I'm sitting here and I can just see how you do win these awards because it's a very layered landscape as well, not just the pool design, but we're only, 4 doors from the Mornington beach here. Yep. So you can feel that coastal wind coming through. So this obviously must influence you on your design.
It did, and I started in construction, as you know, back in the day. You and I used to build alongside each other and compete.
That's right.
But planting's always been my weakness over the years. So this garden, I really wanted to experiment with plants and play around with plants. Mass planting is great, but I think it's also a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to basically have one plant variety in its own entity, but mixed with all the different foliage and texture and colour. And there's predominantly a grey hue, coastal hue throughout the garden. So this was a bit of an experiment for me, and I pushed myself in this garden. The beauty of this garden, though, is I could buy 14 centimetre pots, so it was quite cost effective. And the small ground cover plants actually double in size within a year. So this backyard's only 12 months old.
This would probably be one of the best round concrete pools I've ever seen. You've also got a square spa on that. Now, if you said that to me at the pub, Dave, I'm going to do a round pool with a square spa, I've said, mate, you've had too many beers. But you've made it work here, mate.
Well, I guess the house is quite geometric, and we've got a circular entity on the house, and the rest of the house is square. So I crossed my fingers and hoped that would have worked from an architectural point of view. And my last pool was actually a round spa with a rectangular pool. So it was a bit of fun also to flip that concept and do something 180 degrees in reverse.
If you want to use your pool throughout all seasons, you've got to make sure you've got a correct size heat pump for your pool. I'd recommend to go a size above if you want to swim in winter. It just makes sure you've got perfect swimming conditions all year round. The heat pump that Steve's installed on this one is a 28 kilowatt. It's an absolute perfect size heat pump for this pool. The advantage about the Davey heat pumps, full connectivity. You're able to switch it on and off. It doesn't matter whereabouts you are. It's so simple and easy to use.
Mate, looking at this design is fantastic, but the best thing I love about it, you actually built this yourself.
I did it, yeah, it was my COVID project. The main reason I did it is I couldn't afford to pay someone to do it for me. So spent too much on the house, and but I really enjoyed it, getting back on the tools, which was where I started, where you started. And yeah, it was quite therapeutic during COVID because it actually gave me something to do.
Yeah.
I'm over it now, let me say, but it's really great to be in this space and knowing that I've laid every brick and laid every tile, and it's very rewarding.
I'm going to say you can absolutely see that, mate. So thanks again for having us, and great job.
Thanks, Dave.
Now we can finally reveal this pool in Foster, the gateway to the amazing South Gippsland region of Victoria. This is insane.
I'm going to say the boys from Apex, they've been keeping this one secret, and I can see why, because this is amazing. Spa, negative edge. I'm picturing grotto, cave, water slide, entertaining area, everything. And you know what? We're on a dairy farm. Rhett, I got to say, I've seen small pools, big pools, resort pools, but I've never seen anything like this on a farm, mate. I've got to say, so how did you get involved in a project like this?
Yeah, pretty unique, Dave, the way how we landed here, and I certainly didn't expect it to get to where we are today. You know, from the initial phone conversation where budgets were sort of thrown out over the phone, and it just escalated so quickly. And once the brief came to hand, it was we need a pretty special design. We've got a pretty cool project on our hands.
So, mate, I'm going to say you certainly haven't missed anything out on this pool, because I'm looking at, we've got a water slide here, we've got a grotto, which, you know what, we haven't seen one of those in a long time, and we've got like the day bed sitting over here, we've got the spa, we've got the negative edge over there, and then you've got this beautiful vista of Wilson's Prom sitting over here. So pretty much it's a hamburger with a lot, isn't it? You've got everything.
It sure is, mate. Yeah, we're ticking all the boxes, and when we first come up with the design, and almost got a bit of a American type theme with this grotto, and real paradise in a rural setting.
This is incredible. I would never expect this out in Foster. What was the idea with the two pavilions we've got here?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, Jess. The clients certainly made their feelings felt pretty early in the process that they wanted an adult zone, a part of the pool area, and also a kids zone to separate noise and splash and whatnot. So it was sort of how we're going to work that in and tie that into the pool space was super important to them.
I love the idea how there's a slide over there with a pavilion. So obviously that's the kids zone and we're in the adult zone at the moment.
Yeah, spot on, Jess. So yeah, obviously having the slide ripping around the cave there and sort of focusing, having the kids all over that area. And then as you can see here, really impressive sort of area for adults, have a drink, barbecue, entertain, all that side of things.
TV.
So, TV, exactly right.
Everything.
So yeah, it's all here for the adults, and keep the kids over there.
So let's talk about the water of the pool and the colour. What was the colour that they wanted?
Yeah, I think it was, again, making sure it wasn't too bright and all that sort of stuff. So having that sort of soft turquoisey look, again, keeping true to the soft colours that we had in the surroundings. So it tied in nicely with that, and what was going to work in well with, with glass mosaic tiles in the spa. So we, they were key consideration. We sort of got Deb and Kate into the showroom, had a look at some examples, and we landed on something that I think, it's got some really good colour shift through the day with sun and shade and all that sort of stuff, and it comes up really nicely.
It does.
Yeah, so one thing you do notice with this pool is that how good the water looks. And obviously they've got a cleaner here, and it is the Matronics robotic cleaner, so that keeps the pool clean all year round. With a pool like this, you've got no problems.
I'm a city girl in the country right now, and I have to say this view and this pool is spectacular. All I'm missing now is my rosé. Perfect, thank you. First up, Dave heads to Orangeville, a small town about an hour's drive southwest of Sydney.
Well, guys, this is something exciting. We're here to check out the 2022 National Pool of the Year. They call this the Orangeville Oasis. Let's get in there and check it out. Well, guys, I've said wow a lot of times on this series, but this pool is insane. So who cooked up this crazy idea on this pool?
Mate, it's all up come to Luke from Transform, to be honest with you. I was after a square pool. Luke rolled out this thing, and, mate, I was absolutely blown away.
Luke, I've got to say, mate, is this something that you just sat with some wine one night and thought, right, I'm going to start drawing circles? How did you get this design?
Oh, it's a Transform design. We sort of come up in the office with it. Yeah, the rest is history.
We're on, what, 20 acres? Is that what you said? 28 in Orangeville as well. You do not expect to see a pool like this. This is like farm territory around here. So, you know, I'm thinking Vegas straight away. I'm looking it through here. I'm seeing basically all the acrylic panels through there. Beautiful big round steppers as you come through. You've got water chutes sitting here. You've got fire pits sitting here. Mate, you just need the casino around here. That's about it for this. All right, Luke, it's your idea, mate, your design. What have you got in this pool?
What doesn't it have, Dave? It's got like the entry stairs that spill over. It's got an infinity edge on that side, all the charm sprudelers, the acrylic glass and the spa, big beach area, and the deck area over the back.
I was going to say, it just keeps on going, doesn't it? I mean, and that's not even adding in the landscape here, because I'm looking at the spa behind us here. That's probably one of the most inviting spas I've ever seen there. You've got chairs everywhere as well.
Yep.
And you've got a central table in the spa, which is, well, let's just say this spa. It's a beer table, wine table, whatever you like. So I've got to keep saying, what is your favourite part on this pool?
When we designed it, we wanted to have every angle have a feature, so I just can't pick one, Dave, I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk about the landscape in here as well. And I know that my camera guys are looking at the Gulf over here, and you've got these enormous prehistoric grass trees here. Who is in charge of all of this?
Well, it's a bit of a combination of both of us. So Luke came with obviously a landscape design as well, and we just worked our way through it and tweaked a few things. There's a few beers and over the discussions around the golf course. But yeah, mate, we couldn't be happier with the way it's finished up.
Now, this is probably something that you may not want to answer here, Tom, but I'm going to go to Luke on this one. Is it to try and design something like this? It's hard to put a price on, so...
It is, Dave, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so
hard.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to put something in. You can tell me to get out of here or not. And it's just for the viewers, so I'm thinking just pool alone here. I'm going to be sort of, I reckon, $750 to $1 million, I reckon, something like that.
Yeah,
that's what I reckon.
It's close, Dave.
Is it? Yeah, so I don't want to scare any of your customers off.
No, that's right.
So obviously Tom had to go back to work every weekend to pay for
He
this.
hasn't stopped.
He hasn't stopped.
Still working.
Still working?
Worth every cent.
So Luke, first time in the spa here, mate. What do you think?
Definitely good for leisure. I've been here plenty of times constructing it, but...
Well, mate, I've got to say, I always said that Melbourne pool builders were the best, but you know what? I've got to take my words and eat them up because I guarantee you this is one of the best pools I've ever seen. So, well done, guys.
We're glad to have you, Dave.